Good morning and welcome to this week's The Upper Deck from Pinstripe Chronicles. With me today is my co-host Jonna and our special guest Emily Nyman. You're not going to want to miss this. Cue the music. Music not playing. Well, that's rude. Hang on, guys. Glad we got our cue the music. Well, the good news is the technical difficulties are out of the way, right at the jump. So, hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome. How's it going? And thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's going great. The Yankees are 12-3. Couldn't ask for a better start. So beautiful day. How could I be better? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So tell us the latest with Breaking Balls.
Well, we finally recorded some episodes, and it was me that was not recording and being difficult because I'm a difficult person like that. So it feels good to be back. We're going to be recording, being joined this week by a very good old friend of mine that I used to play softball with for a long time. So she's going to join me on Monday, and it's good to be back. It feels really nice to be talking baseball again and in front of the microphone, and it helps that the Yankees are good. Last year was tough to get going after they were just so horrible. I was like, what am I going to say? Just how terrible things are and how much I hate my life. Like what? So I was like, let's just shelve it for a while and we'll see what next year brings.
That's so relatable because I write for two different media outlets, and it's like so hard to write about them when they're not doing well. I don't know how like Brian Hoke and those guys can do it for a whole season when things aren't going well.
Yeah, it's crazy. And especially like when Judge was not there too. So it was just like, I'm really sad that Judge is not here. Like, where is it? Would just be that over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And scraping the bottom of the barrel, it almost made me feel sympathetic to Boone, and all his looking okay, turning a corner, turning the page, hanging a right at the intersection, and we're seeing a little bit less of that. That feels pretty good. I want to say good morning to FJ and hey, my sister Karen, really, my sister. And hey, Uncle Tats, and hey, NFE, great to see you guys. So Emily, when do I call you Emily? Well, it's Sunday, so I guess I'm being.
It's fine. I've been known to go by that, so it's okay.
So those of you that haven't tuned into Breaking Balls, what's wrong with you? First of all, second of all, it is the best hour you can spend because the content, the way it's produced, the way that it's presented is like elite. And you'll find it on all the platforms, all the things, right, Em?
Yeah, you can find it anywhere, and thank you so much. That really just made me feel really good. My fiance is a producer. He spends a lot of time. I just talking to a microphone. The last episode, he literally had to insert breaths for me because I talked for 20 minutes straight. I did not come up for air once, and he was like, "I think I'm gonna have to slow it down a little bit," but it sounds completely natural. Like he's the one who makes all the magic happen. I just motor mouth into the microphone for an hour or so.
Well, that's really sweet of you. And and shout out to the DJ in the house. But that's actually what I admire too, is that you don't take a breath. Sometimes when I play back this show, it's like, should I just count how many I say? Like the Catholic nuns that taught me for 12 years would like have things to say to me. And so it's just, you guys, make sure you like and subscribe to Breaking Balls. All of her info I'm going to post up at the end of the show. so that you can follow and subscribe. And so, guess what, everybody? Our friend Spencer made me cry yesterday in the best possible way. Because guess what showed up in the inbox on the Upper Deck account? A message from Spencer, courtesy of his daughter Victoria, um, who gave Spencer wanted to give me the trivia question of the week. And so I'm just so happy to be able to share this with you. And so I'm going to put it right up now. So, with Cleveland playing the Yankees this weekend, we recall that 15 years ago, they were the first team to play opening day in the new Yankee Stadium. So, it got me thinking, can't you just hear Spencer's voice? So, it got me thinking, now that they are the Cleveland Guardians, who was the last Yankee pitcher to face a Cleveland Indian? And so, as usual, think about it. And we'll put the answer up at the end of the show. And Spencer, boy, that was a goodie. So great to.
Quick question, Lynn. So, can you clarify for our listeners? Are we talking like which closer or reliever would have been last, or like started the last game?
Who was the very last pitcher? So think ninth inning.
Okay.
And that made it a ton. Well, maybe not, but that at least knocked some people out of the equation for you. Yeah. So there we go. And so let's just pivot a little bit to yesterday. How did everyone think about Schmidt? What did you guys think about Schmidt yesterday?
I'm really stoked on Clark. I think that he did a very good job. He's he's not going to be the guy that's going to go late into the game. He's kind of turns back into a pumpkin the third time around the order, but he gives us the amount of innings that you can expect from him, and you can't really ask much more. And I appreciate the Yankees knowing that about him, so they're able to preserve a good start on his part by yanking him when the time is right and not trying to push it. So, and I appreciate Clark knowing himself too and not trying to fight or stay out there or be a pain in the ass about it. So I think that this is what we want out of him, the guy who's going to be our, fourth or fifth starter. And these guys are really holding it down while Cole's out. So I really think that Clark did a bang up job.
Yeah. What do you think, Jonna?
I think you summarized him really well. Actually, heading into the season, literally just within days of signing Stroman, I wrote an article about the potential for what our rotation could look like. And I had said, Clark is going to be our 5, and I am comfortable with that, and the Yankees are comfortable with that, because I just felt like last year we saw a huge shift in him, overnight, all of a sudden he's a starter. And I just felt like he really came into that.
Yeah.
Adaptable. And so I felt like he would be consistent, and I was comfortable with him. And so I think, did I cut out there? Sorry.
Just a little bit.
I'm in the car. This isn't ideal. Sorry. But yeah, I think Em summarized it really well. I think we know what we're going to get from him, and I don't think you can ask for more there. He's consistent, and yeah, I think I'm a Clark fan.
Yeah, and I agree with all of that. And yeah, would we like to see more than going into the 5th from him? Absolutely. We don't want another toasted on rye bullpen this season, but the wondering about whether we would need Heel yesterday is off the books now, because we were able to avoid that. And I thought that he was just in better command, in really good command. And even Curry, made a remark about his cutter and curve looking especially good yesterday. And I'm not the pitching expert that's on my list. I'm expert at so many things. I just have so many to get to. Pitching is one of them. But we want to see him go a little deeper. but this just might be what we get. And so happy to see that he's settled in. So and in terms of the batters, who stuck out to you game one?
Game one.
I'm gonna
Waldo!
go, Jonna.
No, I don't mean to cut you off,
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
I was
no,
looking because I can't remember shit. I'm like, wait, what was the score of yesterday's first game?
No, yeah, it was really tight, and I was worried we were gonna have to tap into the bullpen in game two, and I was like, thank God we didn't at all
Yep.
need to tap into the bullpen since we did need to use them in game one. But Waldo just is so freaking impressive. He sat for the last 6 days. He hasn't played since last Sunday. So for him to come back out and hit a home run in his first game back, and he had 3 RBIs yesterday. And so I was actually looking at it, and he has scored runs in 7 of the 11 games he played in. So I thought that was really cool. I think he still continues to prove what he is about this year, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Waldo, he's been incredible. And even if, like what we saw when he was first called up, I guess that was August of 2022, even if he's only got, like a 30-day stretch in him, in terms of being able to be elite and then falling off a little bit, there's few better times for him to do that than in the beginning of the season and the end of the season, because you can't win a World Series in April, but you can lose one by falling so far behind in the division. So he's really picking up the slack. Obviously Soto's been out of his mind, but Judge is a little slow to come around. I was happy with him yesterday. I think he laced those 2 doubles. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better, and I have faith that he's obviously going to be fine. But Cabrera's just been amazing, and I was not expecting that from him at all. Not at all. So however long he's able to keep this up, great. It's like playing with house money.
Yep. And I think some of it has to do with playtime he's getting, all around also. Because we know that benefits players that tend, to be put in as needed, like the utility guy that he's been. But, all signs pointing to, we just don't know about DJ. So, that was one of the yabber dabbers from Boone yesterday. I think we got to turn the corner, or, maybe, he's at a stop sign about to turn right, but something about no timeline yet, but looking good, looking great. So, he's our third baseman for now. And that's why they called Kevin Smith back up, and we have Kevin Smith, around for like the utility piece. And I'm with you. I was going to say Judge. All this worry about, let 62 go, everyone. Just everyone, manage the expectations. I have to say this once per show at least. So I met my quota. And, he's going to come back. And, if he doesn't slay it out of the park this season the way that, he has in the past, so what? He's getting on base. And so that's waking up, and we should never worry about the captain. As far as
I thought Rizzo looked good too. Sorry, I thought Rizzo started livening up yesterday too.
Yeah, he had 4 hits across the 2 games, which is, I feel like, the most hits he's gotten all season.
Yeah. Oh, and so and if he's saying when DJ returns, see him platooning, and filling in as a platoon, using him in the utility role, and I'd be all for that, because I think Cabrera will get more and more solid defensively. He's already doing a good job at it, and just needs more of the time. But I would agree with that. Yeah, and nobody's worried about Rizzo. We all know nobody beats him. Nobody beats the Riz. But so Poteet, I had to put it in my headline. I mean, sweet and elite. and back down in AAA. How rude. Uh, what'd you guys think? So what'd you think of Poteet's outing yesterday?
I mean, it was incredible. He put together one of the best starts we've seen this season, I think, and it was like he was a ghost. It was like, wait, who is this guy? And then he was gone after that. And it was like, was I like in a dream? Did I get knocked out? Like, what happened there? So you can't ask for a better start than that from a guy who's just been called up just to be the 27th man. And then he's sent back down. Like, everyone coming up everyone should come up and want to do their job. He did his job and he did it well. And I think that it feels good with Cole not here. So the rotation is short. It feels nice knowing that there's a guy like that waiting in the wings in the event that they need him for whatever reason.
Yep, 100%. Jonna, what do you think?
She continues to nail it for me because I think that's the biggest it was the biggest eye opener probably for all of us. So like just knowing that insurance is there for us, like if we need to tap back into him. And as I said before the show started, I do like the option of having him and then being able to put Hill in the bullpen if we need to. And especially where it's like in this case where we had a doubleheader and we were able to bring him up, I like having him. And like I was so impressed. I actually was looking. I was like, wait, he did like last year he was out. He pitched I think one game maybe. I don't know. He was with the Royals AAA in their AAA system. He hasn't pitched since 21-22, and that was the only year that he's pitched in the big league. So to me, like he was so freaking impressive.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't remember where I read it, but this was his first win in over 1,056 days.
Wow.
So speaking to what you putting that to numbers, what you just said, Jonna, it's been a hot minute, and to get this win, and I think that, and again, Jack Curry with the post game remarks, so fastball, sinker, and change were stellar per Curry. I would agree, and just really excited to have him as the 27th man. There were questions about why him over Beater, and Boone's pat answer, it was a pat answer for a change, was because he earned it. So I think I know I feel good with that choice so far. And yeah, I agree. Right out of the blue, when the name came, I'm like, Poteet. Well, who the hell is Poteet? Like, I was calling him Little Bo Poteet, and I was like, who is this? It sounds like an appetizer, like a mini steak appetizer or something. Anyway, Poteet sirloin. Oh, okay, lunchtime. So anyhow,
It does sound like that. It sounds like some sort of fancy, like French amuse-bouche or something like that.
That's so
We have the
funny,
petit
too,
fours and the poteets
and the birdies
on brioche.
Birdies and the petite.
Birdies and the Petite, like a Motown group, like I love it. Okay, Poteet. Oh, D-Rod. Hey, D-Rod. Poteet is an amuse-bouche. Yes. Oui, oui. Okay. You parlez français. Good for you. And by the way, hey, D-Rod, TZ, Frank. Let's see. Did I miss TZ and FL Diver? Anyone else that joined? Jake Boss. Trying to see you in the magic mirror like Miss Louise in Romper Room. If I miss you, tell me so in the chat. But thanks for being here. So yeah, I mean this was a good day yesterday. And this puts us at 12-3. Which obviously, first of all, we're playing 800 ball. What?
It's insane.
What? I mean, I just want to frame that. And so that on those hard days, and they're gonna come, I could just remember that. But am I right? I didn't get to check. And I was just wondering, am I right that that's best in MLB at the moment? I believe it is.
Yes, it is. And I think it's by quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
above the
I
So,
think
margin.
the Dodgers won last night, and they're 11-6, but they were 10-6 yesterday when I checked. So, yep, we
okay.
have
They
the
did
best
win last
record.
night. I
Okay.
stayed up for that one.
You
Are
know
they
who
playing
didn't
the
win?
Padres still?
Yeah.
It was so funny. I watched for a few minutes not a few minutes, like I watched for a few innings on Friday night, and it was like they started with King, and then Wandy came in to relieve, and Tyler Wade was playing third, and I was like, this is literally like watching like this is the ghost of the Yankees past.
It is where the Kyle Higashioka was catching last night.
Yes,
Like, it's just too many old friends. Too many old
it
friends.
is
Oh
so
my
funny.
God. That's so funny. I hadn't really been paying attention to like where the biggest cluster of them are. But that's really funny. Yeah, and so TZ wants our thoughts on Marinaccio, who also went right back down. So Jonna, let's start with you. Marinaccio.
Yeah, gosh darn it. Ron, I mean, he got us out of it, but he looks rough to me. And I mean, he still is coming off of that injury recovery, so hopefully it's just giving him some more reps down in AAA. We'll get him where he needs to be because I do see a lot of potential in him. And yeah, I feel like his command is just not there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he got hit pretty hard against a team that isn't historically known for hitting the ball very hard. I mean, he did face, I think, like the top of the lineup, but still, it's the Guardians. They kind of eke their way through the season with little singles and stuff. So he gave up that home run. That's obviously not what you want out of a guy who's going to come in and pitch one inning. Fortunately for him, he came into a route of a game, so it didn't really matter. But the game before was decided by one run. So these guys, they pitch how they pitch. You know, it's not like he came in, oh, it's 8-2. Let me just not really care as much. Like, it could have easily been the game before. So I think that he's still got a little bit of work to do. He needs to have better command. He can't be leaving the ball out over the plate because there are teams that we play that are a lot better than the Guardians, and they're going to absolutely punish those pitches.
Yep. Yep. I agree. And you know, I think that I agree that, oh, I put the wrong one up. This one up here is absolutely accurate. He's not ready. It's been a long time rehabbing and getting back to shape, but thank God this was a small sample size, and yeah, I agree with both of you, and it was clear. So a little bit more time for good old Maraschino, man. And we'll see. We'll see, but I don't expect him to be like an automatic. Oh, let's bring him up again for a bit yet. Um, so um, so right now, petite is greater than marinara, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
It's definitely what you're hearing. Yes, absolutely. Higher on the menu, and most popular dish in the restaurant at the moment. All right, so let's pivot to our hot takes of the week. We're never shy on those. So, you got a hot take, good, bad, ugly from this week? Anything? Open door.
My hot take, I think that Nestor is going to have another great start today. I don't know if that's really a hot take as much as I'm still like having, I'm in like the aura of his last start where he went 8 innings. Like, I'm just feeling good about Nestor. I'm feeling really, really positive, and I feel like he's last year can really be narrowed down to just the fact that he was injured and it wasn't him turning back into a pumpkin after 2022. So I'm hoping that this isn't much of a hot take moving forward, that it is just an expected sort of thing from him again.
Yeah, yeah, that's hot. Um, that's hot. Jonna?
So I still stand by my two like hot-ish takes, but they're cooling off. Clay Holmes is still my closer. Cabrera, keep playing him. Those are my like. I'm staying strong with those. hot takes, but I have a new hot take. Well, it's not really new. I actually said this when MLB came out with their bullpen projections. I was like, what the hell? I mean, a lot of us were like, what the hell? The Yankees didn't even make it on the top 10 projections, which I was like, what a joke, you know? But I am standing by that. I think our bullpen is in a lot better shape than what they're getting credit for. In 15 games, we've given up just 14 runs. And 22 walks in 15 games. Like, that's pretty freaking phenomenal, actually. We have the most saves in baseball with 9, and we have a 2.26 ERA, which, like, given, like, the experience of some of these guys, I think it's pretty telling. I think we have a good bullpen, and we don't even have Tommy Kahnle and Scott Efros right now. Like, we're operating not even at full capacity, and we continue to do well. So that's my hot take, is that we're in not as rough a shape as people think we are, and I don't think there's a sense of, like, there's an urgency as much as people think there is to add to the bullpen.
I will take all of that and I will upsize it to a deluxe meal. I want all of that you just laid out. And so Uncle Tats says Nestor gets to the 7th and we see our first back-to-back from Soto and Judge. Double hot take from Uncle Tats. I'll take it. And I think that's realistic. Let's have it. Let's manifest that. So my hot take, Stanton season. This is going to be, an injury, let's just say long IL free season for Stanton. I'm not ruling out some nappy days and, a couple of, games sitting here and there. But, he came back prime. We were all geared for like an explosion. We didn't so much get an explosion as much as like a bunch of firecrackers here and there. But you know what? He's coming back more and more and more. I didn't grab his numbers to compare, but he has been clutch more than anyone, maybe than Soto, so far this year and so far this season. And so, yeah, I've always been a Stanton girl, la la la. That's fine. But okay. So, I'm going on the apology tour because I caved about him for a minute too, with this chat right here, who are so compelling and convincing about Stanton's cooked and etc. But you know what? He was just slow bacon. He's not cooked. It was worth it. He was in the crock pot and the pressure cooker, and now he's out. And we're gonna see not exactly pre-Stanton, but pre-injury Stanton, but we're gonna be seeing so much out of him this season. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's going to be someone that if he hits 30 home runs and he's got an 800 or over OPS, I don't care what his batting average is, that can carry this team pretty far. He is obviously a difference maker. He's someone that even when he is at his worst, he strikes fear in the hearts of pitchers and other teams and their fans because he's capable of so much. And it just is a testament to his talent and the sort of talent that gets guys to rise to the top like he has, that even when we think they're cooked, they have stuff like this left in the tank, that it's not like someone who's just had a good season or two and he's cooked, like an Aaron Hicks or guys who have been really, really good and then they fall off hard and they never return. Stanton is a generational talent and he's one of the best players that we've seen in the last 15 years. So I think that I'm just really glad that he's on our team, because if they let him go, I think he'd go somewhere else and would end up punishing us.
Yes, we absolutely would. I love this hot take because I've noticed something, and I think you guys probably have too, but like in the past, we had so many frequent injuries, and this year, and like I feel like there was a correlation between that and how many games off like Judge and Stanton were getting. I almost feel like it was too much and it was being counterproductive, because if you look around the league and like look at the Rays and look at the Dodgers, like Mookie, those guys play in some of the most games a year and they're never hurt. Like, were we getting too many games off? Was Boone trying to be too creative and like preserving the guys that he was so worried about that it was actually like counterproductive? So I like this hot take because I think that maybe we will see less injuries, because he seems to be being more consistent with what the lineups he's rolling out. And I'm with you, Em. I think if Stanton would have gone, so like if we would have traded him away, he would have absolutely punished us and annihilated us.
I'm still hung up on.
It's just nature. It's a way of the world, unfortunately. Like I'm fully expecting Isaiah Kiner-Falefa to hit one of his only 2 home runs this season versus the Yankees. It's just going to happen. It's just what players do.
That, or pitch a no hit against us.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna totally close us out, and they're gonna beat us in a game. Just book it
without question.
100%. And if we see Monty at any point, same. Monty is going to Cy Young his way through that game as well. If that happens.
Speaking of Monty, that's big news. That's non-Yankee related. He fired Scott Boras this week.
I know. You gotta wonder how many other pins are going to fall.
I know. I hope Soto fires them.
Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they band together and run him out of the business. Yeah. So, thanks for all the Stanton affirmations. And could you just say one more time that, like Juan Soto, Stanton is a
generational talent?
Yes. Thank you.
He is. Anyone, you can't. That is not a subjective thing.
Nope.
That is a objective fact. And just because we're seeing, I have to remember too, he came up into the league when he was 20 years old. So he's been playing baseball now for like 13, 14 seasons. That's a long time. And I know it's like, oh, he's only 34, but he's not someone who started late, was, not that it's not a grind in the minors too, but he's been playing at the top level in the world, the premier league in the world, for that long. So I think that what we get out of him, he just needs to hit home runs. I don't need him to be hitting 300 at all. I don't care. No, just hit home runs. That's what you're here for. Hit the ball hard, hit home runs.
What's interesting, and I don't want to turn this into the Stanton show, although I could.
Yeah, I'm like, why not?
maybe that's going to happen. And we'll talk. Let's see. The three of us got to put something together with that. But seriously, he's not just hitting for all out power. He's getting some. He's getting himself on the bases. And next man upping. So I think that's another adjustment that's going to be key for him, is that maybe he's moderating a little bit the weight that he's putting behind the bat, and not so much worrying about 300 mph velo and going into the next town with it. And so and I know that there was a comment from TZ earlier about they need to play him more. He does better when he's playing more. I mean, that's just common sense, right? But we got a traffic jam in the outfield. And, I think the calculated thinking, if there is such a thing with the front office, is, let's just, sit him, because the less he does, the less likely he'll get injured doing something. And so
the big guys get hurt a lot easier, so trying to manage that, it's different. And I'm not saying I agree or disagree with how the Yankees choose to do it, but Stanton and Judge are special cases because they're huge. So they're just massive players that are position players, and even pitchers are not that big. So it's just trying to manage that. And Stanton getting a little bit leaner this year, a little bit more flexible, is part of that. So however they think it's best. I mean, I love Stanton and I don't mind him in the outfield, but they brought in guys who at this point in time are probably better outfielders because they move a little bit better. Back in the day, Stanton was a great outfielder, but if we all think that he's lost a step, that translates to his defense too. So I think that the pitchers probably feel a little bit better having more spry guys behind them.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I think Doogie is really doing his job. I haven't seen, yes, he missed a couple of catches, but
Woof,
they were
woof, woof. He's a
What?
dog. I said woof, woof. He's
Woof,
a
woof,
dog.
Woof.
Doogie dog. Yeah, and that's why I create a hashtag Doogie dog. Yes, absolutely.
I can't
And I
believe he
know,
made me like him. It's horrible.
oh yeah,
Horrible.
I
Absolutely
mean,
That's
horrible.
another hot take I have. Is like I feel like they brought him in as an insurance of a potential trade deadline piece. I think that's probably where they were leaning more toward in the beginning, and now I feel like that's totally shifted. He is so good for this team.
he really is on the field, and I'm convinced in the clubhouse. And yeah, he just brings the right kind of energy. So you know what? Wear all the chains. I'm over it. I'm not going to call you Luke Voigt 2.0 anymore. Do the thing, whatever it takes. But oh, I didn't see that meme going around, TZ. Okay, yep.
That's my meme.
That's your meme?
Well, okay. So he really did say that the other day against, I think, Toronto, when he hit that home run against Toronto. He said, like, they were barking, and he was like, let's go fuckers, when he was coming into the dugout. And Talkin' Yanks put it out first, but then I changed the meme, and so now, like, every time we win, I put the record on there. I go, we're 12-3, and then it says, let's go fuckers under it.
I have seen it. Yeah, okay, got it. Yep. Next a t-shirt from 108 Stitches. Oop,
Yeah.
you froze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put those asterisks or, whatever but on it, but whatever you need, or
We
print
don't
it as it
have
was written said.
asterisks. We don't have asterisks here.
Yeah. Even better. They'll fly off the shelves if it's not edited that way.
Right.
All right. Totally. All right. So today's lineup is out. If you haven't seen it. So Volpe's still leading off. By the way, how are we feeling about Volpe as leadoff so far?
It's great. I think that he should stay there until I think he should probably just stay there. You can't manage a lineup where if a guy's struggling for a few games, you then switch it all around. I think that he's earned that spot and he's getting on base, and that's all we can ask. That's the most we can ask,
Yep. Jonna, you agree? Yep.
I love Volpe there. I think, like, we were all chomping at the bit for him to get that spot, and since he's been there, he's comfortable, he's doing well, and I hope that we start to see a shift in Gleyber's performance now, too, that he's, like, a little bit of the pressure is off of him.
Right, absolutely. And then the huge, right? We got Soto, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Torres, Verdugo, Trevino, and Cabrera, and then of course Cortez. I saw somebody asking in the chat, who's our favored catcher, Trevino or Wells? Who should get the more playing time?
Probably Trevino, just because I think that he's earned it at this point in time anyway. There's not enough of a sample size to say, now bring up Wells. I think that they're just going to split time, whoever the pitchers feel most comfortable throwing to. But because I'm a Yankee fan, I am partial to a catcher that can hit a little bit. It's tough to see Trevino get up there and just be like every other catcher and just absolutely suck at hitting. So it would be nice to see Wells with a little bit of pop, but I don't think that he'll be the starting catcher over Trevino unless Trevino really fucking sucks, like over the first half of the season.
Right. Yeah.
I think, like, I'm going to stand by something I said last week, too, which was I think Trevino could potentially be a good trade piece. And in that case, I like Wells more because he needs to get the experience. I mean, I think that's why we kept Trevino, because he's the veteran guy, but we So I think Wells needs to get a little more experience. However, like, I don't know if this platooning that we're doing is not very effective. Like, I don't know if it's been hard for both of them to get in a groove because neither one of them seems to be like really producing very well right now. And I don't know, like, if it has anything to do with that, the fact that they're just not getting like enough consistency for the two of them. I don't know. And so, and that I'm so torn because I'm like, do we need to just like ride with one or the other, like, or do we keep platooning? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, and I think that there are some givens with the platooning because we know Cole is a Trevino guy, for example, and so that's going to be a lock no matter what, unless or until they do something else with Trevino. And yeah, the bat's got to come, and there was some, we talked about this last week, but the defense behind the plate has to wake up a little bit too, even with Trevino and his, like, 12,000 platinum gloves. Has made some, just not okay plays. So a little adjusting, but forgiveness because he's coming back, and I got to keep remembering myself that he was out on long-term IL, and we have to give him a little bit of time for that too. So all right, and so I'm gonna pivot back to another topic, a new topic that I am putting up on the screen right now. Everyone in the chat, everyone listening that watches the show, is familiar with the highlights we do when we have them on women in baseball. So welcome to our newest segment. Sisters are doing it for themselves. And this week's highlight is Kelsey Whitmore. Kelsey Whitmore was the first woman to play in the Atlantic League and the Pacific League. Now she will be the first woman to sign a contract with the Pioneer League team, as the Oakland Bowlers announced on Wednesday that they were adding the trailblazing pitcher after a successful tryout weekend. So she is the first woman to join an MLB affiliated team. And she played a field position. I want to say first base and pitcher, but they signed her on as a pitcher. And she, said in an article I read that she's actually relieved because she feels that that's really what she's made for. And she just said, I love this quote. I'm going to do my best and whatever I can to encourage and inspire other women and young girls to continue playing the game. So shout out to Kelsey Whitmore, another trailblazer. And we're going to be hopefully seeing more and more of that. And so I am going to now give you the trivia answer. So let me reread. Well, you just saw the answer, but I'm going to reread the question. So with the Cleveland Guardians playing the Yankees, who was the last Yankee pitcher to face a Cleveland Indian? And we did clarify at the beginning that last pitcher would mean end of game. Okay? And so here's the answer. And Spencer, how do you make things so timely? How do you do that? When because I had to assist with looking up the answer. And when I saw this, I had to like double check it with other sources. Like, how can this be? So yes, none other than Clark Schmidt. The last game before they pivoted to being the Cleveland Guardians in the beginning of the 22 season. So on September 19th, 21, top of the ninth to the Indians outfielder Oscar Mercado. And we lost 11-1. Suffice to say, it was a different Indians team back then. But yep, there's the answer. I saw some really good guesses in the chat, but I mean, who would have thunk that Schmidt would have been the answer? And by the way, the other reliever that day, that game was Lucas Luetge. He came in after Garrett Cole, who was the starter. So Garrett Cole took the loss that night, and then Luetge, and then Schmidt. So let's go around, and any last thoughts, any last takes for today and the week ahead with Toronto. And how do you want to wrap up?
I'm really excited to go into that series versus Toronto. I think that much like the last few seasons, they've come out of the gate, they've been a disappointment as to what was expected. Gausman in particular has not been pitching well for them, and he's their ace. So I think that the Yankees are going to continue to come out of the gate hot, and the Blue Jays are in trouble. And since they play less and less games versus in-division teams, these series mean even more because you can make up, you can separate yourselves or make up ground if you have to. This is the time to do that. So I think that they really need to bury the Blue Jays, and they should sweep them. I know that's tough to beat a team 3 games in a row, but I think that right now is the time. Blue Jays are down bad, and the Yankees are having the vibes of the century. So,
yep.
And on the vibes note, like the Blue Jays are that one team that could really get the tensions rising for us, and we are a team right now that I feel like thrives on that. Like, so talk all your shit that you want, Vlad, because we're just going to thrive on that.
Listen,
yeah, totally agree.
100%. I'm going to reopen like a pre-K center, and Vladdy could like come to my circle time and sing our little songs, because he is not a daddy, he's a baby, and he acts like one. And so yeah, it just they're my new Red Sox, the Jays. They just it's another whole over show, and I'm going to start to stammer. That's what I'm feeling inside about the Blue Jays. So yeah, let's take them to school twice, and let's do it in their house. All the better. I'm hungry for that. So with you on that. And so let me just um, while we thank Emily for joining us today, take a look at all of her ats. Make sure to follow her on Twitter. I still will not call it X. That's right, Elon. I'm a rebel. So follow Em. She does it on Twitter. Breaking Balls Podcast. If you're on Twitter at Break Balls Pod, and check it out. Check out the new episode dropping this week on Monday, or when is it dropping?
It'll probably drop on either Tuesday night or Wednesday.
Okay, so I was like way off, but
yeah,
just
DJ Pinchington has to do his magic in the lab. I can't just drop. You guys are most other podcasts are brave. I'm not. He needs to do things for like 12 hours to make it listenable, and then we drop it.
Yeah. Nope. So just be on the lookout midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday. Keep your eyes peeled because it's worth it. On all your podcast platforms. I want to say, don't forget that that this is a show that we do for the fans. We're fans here for the fans, and as Uncle Tats likes to say, Pinstripe Chronicles is where fans become family. And so we appreciate everyone in the chat that's here every day. You really are like family, and fellow Yankee fans like always here and always ready and always enthusiastic about joining us. And that's such a tremendous support. We're grateful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have you clicked like for this show? It really matters. I would do like a Jerry Lewis plug right now, but I'm running out of caffeine. But help get Pinstripe Chronicles up to 700 and beyond. Subscribe to this channel. Don't miss our Pinstripe Rose on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. We have other podcasters in the chat. Yes, I'm gonna prolong this. NFE has a fantastic podcast, The Strike Zone, on all your platforms and on this channel. We also have Well, 4 Train Express is another one. Follow Maz and 4 Train Express and the Strike Zone. Check out their podcast. They're excellent. They're part of the Pinstripe family. And thank you again, Emily. Thank you, Jonna, the best co-host ever. And
Thank you, the best co-host ever. And thank you so much. I hope you come back. That was a lot of fun to have you on today.
Thank you guys for having me. I'd come back anytime. This was a blast. I love talking to you guys. I love reading the chat. It's just awesome. It is the best possible way I can spend a Sunday morning. Seriously.
oh my gosh, I want that on a poster. That's going to be the headline of my next promo with your name on it. And it's so. And as
Got too
always,
excited. I punched my camera. Sorry. Sorry if anyone gets motion sickness because it just
I thought
shook like
maybe
crazy.
I thought maybe Apollo was dropping in for a cameo. A
I wish you did.
cameo.
Aw.
Anyway, as always, you all know that there's always a reserved seat right here on the upper deck with Jonna and me. And let's go seal the deal with the Guardians. Let's go, Yankees!
Woo.
Go Yanks! Woof,
Go
woof.
Yankees.